everyone, Melanie Minshinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. Today I've got a new project for you with my newest set from Gina K Designs, Holiday Hexagons. And I want to combine these two cards to show you how you can hang up some ornaments with some of the bold images from this set, but also create some pine branches to hang them from. This is really fun with these stretched six-sided pieces and then the little tiny hexagons for making some berries. Really minimal supplies today for this card, basically just stamps, ink, and paper. The paper that I'm going to use today, I have just got a card base. It's A2 with a top fold, 4¼ inches by 11 inches, scored at 5½. This is some of the Gina K Pure Luxury Red Velvet. This is my favorite red of hers for Christmas. And then I've got some of the layering weight white Pure Luxury, and this is 3¾ by 5 inches. If you want to layer it up more or use the master layout so that you have that nice stitched edge, you can definitely do this, but I just cut it in a pinch, and this will be really easy to mass produce if you're making a lot of cards. The ink pads that I'm going to use today, I've got the coordinating red velvet to match my paper, some of the Plum Punch, which you see here, the fresh asparagus. This is my favorite green, and it gives you a lot of different variations when you stamp it off. So this is just the one green, 2 generations of this ink pad. Love this Christmas green for greenery. And then we've got the Gina K Prickly Pear. And so I just love this. It's a nice golden pear color, and it works great for metallic ornaments for that string and the little hanger. Then you're going to need just something to stamp with. So I'm using the small MISTI today, and then I've got just some of the acrylic blocks that Gina carries for my smaller stamps. Then I've got some of the Connect glue for my layers, or you can use a tape runner. And then if you want to add a little bit of bling, I am just using some of the clear flat sequins that she carries. I think the quartz sequins is what they're called. So let's go ahead and get started stamping this up. So I am going to take this white mat, and we're going to be using the small and the large long 6-sided shapes. It's kind of like a prism shape. And then you can use any of these different ones that you want. I used this one in my last video for the wreath. So I think I'm going to use this one today like I used on this card. And maybe this smaller one here if we do 2 ornaments. But you can use any one of these. I mean, it's so fun to do your different ink pads and the different fillers to pop color into these open spaces. This solid outline of a hexagon fits right in here, so we're going to be using this one as well. And we're going to be going to some of these other ones, but I'm also going to use this tiny hexagon here for creating those berries. Either of the hangers you can use. I'm going to use the one that has that triangular opening on it because I like this one for an ornament with the point side up. I just feel like it looks more round when you have the point up than the flat side, but that's just my personal preference. So I'm going to pull this one off. We'll put these aside. Then you're also going to want just this ornament hanger, this long stretch line. This is great for borders, but also when you want it to act as a string. You can also do that as a stem if you saw that flower card I showed in our peaks. And then I'm going to use my greeting. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start with stamping out. I want to have my greeting first and one of those ornaments so I can kind of get those in place where I want them. I think I'm going to do both of these in the plum. So I'm going to put this right about here. And then I think I want this right about here. A little hair on there. Okay. So I want this hanging through just like that. And then I'm going to do a different color for this ornament here. So I'm going to place my magnets down. Close that door, and I'm going to ink this up in the Plum Punch. I just love this jewel tone at Christmas time. Okay, make sure I got that inked up all over. And if I need to redo it, I can just do that with the MISTI. Okay, perfect. And that is going to lighten up a little bit. If that looks a little bit darker, it kind of looks like the eggplant right now, but that will lighten up. So I'm going to take these off and set these aside. All right, so now what I want to do, I'm going to leave this in here because I love this black foam mat underneath for, oh, and I got a little smudge just then from my finger when I moved that. So I'm going to take that off. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I can remove that with my Gina K sand eraser at the end, or I can cover it up with my pine branches. So let's go ahead. I might not even need to do that. Okay, so I'm going to take my small block here. Actually, I'll do this one. So let's go ahead and add the string and the little hanger. All right, so I'm going to ink this up in the Pear, and I'm just going to pop this on right over it. And if you want it to touch, you can, or you can create just like a little gap. And that makes it a little bit more graphic, and then you don't have to worry about it touching exactly. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the string going right through it. So if you were going to have a darker color than your greeting, then you would want to maybe mask this off so you don't see that going through. But because this is lighter, I can just go right through that H. Okay? And now I think I want to go ahead and I want to do this smaller one. So I'm going to place this on here, and you can do this back in the MISTI if you want to make sure you get a nice solid image. But I'm going to do this one in the red, and this is going to really pop and go with my card base there. So I'm going to just do this smaller one. Okay, and then I want to add that hanger again. So I'm just going to put that right there, trying to keep my head out of the way. And then we'll put on that string again. And you want to make sure I am lining this up on the line on my block. Got a little off on my card. I don't know if you noticed, but one is going a little bit to the side. I like to imagine that is a cat there swinging the ornament around, since I didn't get it going straight up and down like it would be if it was hanging. Just like that. Okay. All right, now what I want to do is I want to start building out that pine branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the larger one, and I'm going to ink this up in the fresh asparagus. And then I'm just going to start just going back and forth. I'm going to move this. I'm actually going to move this off of here just so that I have room to go off the edge of my mat. And I'm just kind of putting them in a configuration where they're pointing in relatively the same direction, but the way that they go out on either side and then out towards the tip like a pine branch would. And then you're just layering that, so you want to think about the darker ones being closer to you and the lighter ones being farther away. And then I can put just a little bit out here as though I'm making just another little branch in the corner. And if you stamp it off, you want to make sure that you don't go too far off the edge with your first ink and then come back in, because then you're going to get something that's two-tone. And two-tone is going to look beautiful for a leaf, but you're not going to want that hard line. So you want to make sure that you just have a full ink when you're going off the edge, and then if you're going to do it again, that you back it off a little bit so that you're not seeing that full strength. I'm putting this over the paper so that you can see where you still have that darker edge. Okay, So I think that looks pretty just like that. And if you wanted to fill this in down here with a little more greenery, you could, but I like that white space. Now, if you want to add, this is just going to give a little more variation since you've got the tinier stamp. You can do just some little tiny pieces here, but this is optional. It just gives it just a little more dimension, makes it a little bit more lifelike to add in just some of those tinier pieces. But that is up to you if you want to do those or not. Okay, now let us go in with that tiniest hexagon, or if you want to use one of the ones that looks more like a sequin, or if you want to really save time, this is the one I used last week for the wreath, just this whole little cluster of them. But I want to have more control and have just single berries instead of clumps of berries. So I'm just going to go on and I'm going to stamp these off as well. And I'm kind of trying to go back and forth so that I have some dark ones and then some light ones. Okay, not fun, it's just sweet. And let's add a little bit of color now to the interior of these ornaments. So I am going to, if you'll notice, this one actually fits right in here. So I'm going to use this yellow, and I'm just going to pop that right into the center. And if you want, you can go around all 6 of those. Oh, and I got, oh darn, I got a little bit of ink, so let me go back. Not keeping my fingers very clean here. So I'm going to just cover up that little boo-boo here real quick with some more greenery. Okay. All right, now what I want to do is I want to grab this one and I'm going to add some of the green, and I'm just going to pop these in. And I need to do some re-inking on this pad. I'm seeing a little bit of texture from my stamp pad. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. So I'm going to re-ink after this video and can line it up a little bit better than I am. I don't mind the white, but I am trying to keep my head out of it. All right, now what I want to do is, let's see, I think I'm done actually. I'm going to go ahead though and put in, just want to put, since I've got my Connect glue out and I mentioned the sequins, I just want to add just a little bit of sparkle here. So I'm going to add one just right to the center. I think I'll do both. I'm going to do a large one and then I'll do one on the smaller one. The soft stone ink, that would also be very pretty for creating kind of a metallic gray look with the ink if you don't want to emboss. You could also use some of the rhinestones. Those are really pretty on these ornaments or snowflakes. Okay. Oh, and I forgot, I wanted to go ahead and let me put in, I'm going to make the O a little bit more of a feature here. So I think I'm going to do, which one do I want to do? I think I'm going to do this one that matches this little snowflake here. I'm going to do this in the red. So again, there's just so many options, and if you're mass producing cards but you kind of still want to personalize them a little bit or change up your design, then this is a great way to just grab a different flake so you're not doing it over and over again, but you're still able to have just the one set out that you're using. Okay. Another thing that might be kind of cute to make it look like you are adding a little sparkle to this tree or a little bit more ornamentation, you could use this little starburst one. So I'm going to do that in the yellow. And that kind of just creates a little more interest in the tree there. So just make it as fancy as you want. And then we're going to just layer this onto our base, and we're done. That's it. If you want to put some snowflakes inside this card, more hexagons, or add one of those little hexagons to the back. I think what I want to do is, since I have this one out and on the block already, I'm just going to use this, so that can be like my little logo, and then I will just sign that. And we're done. So I hope that you will give this look a try. I'm also going to show you, I think I showed you this one the other day. You lay all these out here. You can also create not just strings, but also tree branches. So I will show you this window card in a future video, but I just love being able to create mistletoe or branches to hang these from. It's just such a fun look and just such an easy card to create for the holidays. Thanks so much for watching today. Please check out my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, and see my other videos on my YouTube channel, and visit us over at Gina K Designs. Thanks again so much for watching today. God bless.